Check, check. Okay. Check, 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 check. Well, let me start all over. That was a nice opening. Thank you, everybody. That's probably saying, so my mouth moving. Like, first, I know it's 9 o'clock. I was saying that I was going to try to be here at 8. Today was a long day. My grandbaby came home. They stayed with us for a little while. This morning, I had a problem with my tooth. I had to go to the dentist. And then just getting everything adjusted. And so, if we get, I want to make tonight a little abridged. I want to forego in the room at 11. I want to get a good night's sleep. And I want to do Faith Clear tomorrow. And then I want to come back early tomorrow night and really get into this. So you can get the best of me. And again, with so much that was going on today, it was a lot. So y'all forgive me tonight for not having a long night. But I want to give you your assignment. So you can start working on the assignment and start to teach. But my desire is to be here really over the next 30 days, like every night during the day, and just keep feeding you until we get the results that I believe God. I want to talk about that inward power to take control of your life. You know, I over the years listened to, and you may hear some things I say that relate to something that you listen to Tony Robbins. But I take some of the things I've learned over life from my dad, from Tony Robbins, from Walt Disney. Some of these people who are secular people, but when you apply the Word of God, it just gives you a whole different perspective on the matter. And so when we want to look at success, we look at people who are successful, right? And how did they accomplish it? Why is it that you can have two of the same people? One's ultimately successful and maybe has less opportunity, less ability, yet they soar to the top, while a person who has all the talent, all the ability, stays mundane in that same spot. And we talked about this inward power, and this inward power starts with the word work, because if you have power, we said power, the word that was locked in the power was action. So these next 30 days is about taking action. Now, if you don't want to take action, then you want to like tap out now. Now, don't forget, I want everybody to make a Anthony. Oh, Anthony made it. Praying for you, Anthony, and your mom. Also praying for Brother Dixon, lost his daughter. So we want to keep her in our prayers as well. Him and his prayer. Him and Sister Madge. So when we talked about the word power brought the word action. So it's no sense having power if you're not going to act. So I want you to act. It's a human behavior. I need a response. And if we're not going to get a response, then we're going to be in the same place over. We're on that merry-go-round, round and round and round. And so, in action, I want you to write this down. The power of discipline. The power of discipline to act. Write this down. The power of discipline to act versus the power of regret not to act. Y'all got that? Now, I know y'all got your notebooks and your pens and papers. I didn't even ask you that question. And, of course, you're sharing. All right, so we have the power of discipline to act versus the power of regret not to act. And let me just welcome everybody for a moment. I did not do that, sorry. My mic wasn't on. So we got Millie.
Hi, Daddy.
Okay, good night, sweetheart. I love you. I'll call you. We got Millie. We got Phyllis. We got Sheena, Joanne, Ticey, William Chambers, Sister Lorraine. We got Pammy. Tasha's here. Dina, Joanne, and Joanne. Oh, we got George, right? I remember Joanne, both sites. Okay. We've got Tracy. And we've got Wendy. Wendy Williams from Trinidad. Okay, well, I was saying, wait, Wendy Williams is on? We got Nisha. Sister Brown, I will text you. We got Phyllis and Natalie, Valerie Hall. So people are coming into the classroom, and I want to call it a classroom. So I want to stress to you that this is about taking action. And if you're not going to take action, then this is not the place for you. So again, the power of discipline to act versus the power of regret not to act. Now, I'm sure many of you in life did not apply the discipline in certain areas. And so what you got was regrets. If I had to go to the dentist a little while ago, I lost a couple of teeth. Why? Because initially when I had the opportunity to be disciplined enough to go back to the dentist, I waited and wound up losing the tooth. Now I got to go back and get an implant. Well, all that money was all unnecessary because I wasn't disciplined at that moment to follow through on what was necessary. And the reason I used a dentist because now it was additionally painful. I had already did the root canal. I had to go back, get the post, and get the crown, but I waited, and then the tooth broke off, and boom, well, look up, man. Good, I see it. The power of discipline. So that in these next 30 days, we're talking about discipline. Discipline to act, and to act immediately. Please write that down. Say, I will act immediately. There's no waiting, there's no weeks, there's no days, there's no months. It's immediate. Now faith that works now is the assurance, the confirmation, the title G of what I hope for but cannot see, cannot wait. Now faith must operate in the now. And we told you what goes along with faith. Good, I see y'all writing to me. That's what I want to see. And of course, this is going in your journal or your notebook. I will act immediately. And what goes along with faith? We talked about this last night. Works. There you go, Tasha. So anytime I say the word faith, for us, it is paralleled, equivalent. I think that word we used last night. Faith is equivalent to work. Faith, so if you say the word faith to me, only means one thing, you're working. And we are working in the now, so we work. Now faith means now work. And in this process, over these 30 days, we are going to be in the Kanai. What is the Kanai? It's not a drink. What is the mindset of Kanai? Jeanette, how are you? How's your son doing? Praying for him. So these next 30 days is a Kanai moment in your life. What is a Kanai moment? So you understand it. Yeah, I will act immediately. Now you're writing down these terms, so when I use the terms, you understand them. So that's why it's a little bit slower. So even though I'm going to be back tomorrow night stronger, but I wanted to take time to set this foundation. Yes, Tasha. This constant, always, never-ending improvement. And I use the illustration. Remember this picture from last night. And I'm going to deal with this. And we talked about bricklayers. Because in order to build the house or the building, he has to be constant, always never ending, brick by brick, improving every time. Every time I lay a brick, I improve that building until it's completed. Now, one thing I want you to, this is one part of your assignment. So you can write this down. I want you to find out the tools of a bricklayer. What are the tools of a bricklayer? I want you to do that, and we're going to go over that as we go along. What are the tools of a bricklayer? Okay? And I use a bricklayer No, I don't think that's Valerie Moore. I think that's Valerie Hall who said hi to you. If Valerie Moore is on here, I don't know if she's on here. Okay? So we are going to operate in the Kenai of God. God is always moving. God is never still. That's why it says, I give you the scripture in Isaiah, the word that goeth out of my mouth. So if the word goes out of his mouth, it's moving. It shall not return void. So it goes, it comes, it's moving. We're always with a God that's moving. Cloud by day, fire by night. Always there's motion. There's momentum. Everybody said there must be momentum. Good evening, Monique. Yes, thank you, Tassie. What are the tools of a bricklayer? And write this out. There must always be momentum. There must always be momentum. It must always be movement. So, somebody write that down. There must always be momentum. There always must be movement. There's no procrastination. There's no stagnation. No procrastination, no stagnation. Tasha, you have my email, yes? So I'm going to ask Monique and Tasha to send me over the notes when we get out of class at night, forward me the notes. Okay? So you guys got a little bit more work. There must be no procrastination and no stagnation. There must be momentum. We must move, and immediately. Because when you waste time and you don't move, then that's when you get into difficulty. Now, stay with me, y'all. Oh, God. How in the world can this happen? Okay. Now, it is important, and I want to stress to you that you take notes. Why? Now, this is a fact. You can verify this. For the majority of people, if you only listen without taking notes, after 3 days, you will lose up the obtaining of that knowledge almost up to 80%. That's a lot of loss. So if you don't take notes down, if you don't write it down, and you just listen to me, 3 days pass, you will lose approximately 70-80% of what I taught you. It'll just, unless you're one of those few people that have this incredible gift of memory. But if you write it down and reinforce it, they guarantee you just the opposite, 70-80% you retain. That's why you want to take notes. That's why he told Joshua, don't meditate it on one day, meditate it on day and night. And if he's going to meditate, it has to be written. He has to see it. Now, we are going to be working on reshaping your destiny. So we said take action. Well, Pastor, why am I taking action? Because we're going to reshape your destiny. Reshape your destiny. I think we used the word conformity last night. Conformed. It was Ephesians 1, 11 and 12. Remember Ephesians 1, 11 and 12? In him we were also chosen. So if you were chosen, that tells you that your destiny was in his hand. So when you talk about reshaping your destiny, it means I have to allow. God uses an incredible story in the book of Jeremiah. Very popular story. Someone wrote a song about it. There's a church name after. What is the story about? Somebody tell me. What is that story that we find in Jeremiah? It's a popular story. What is it about? Sister Brown, Nisha Brown, I will text you after I get off the air, okay? So somebody tell me that. What's the story in Jeremiah? Popular story. Somebody wrote a song of it. Somebody named their church after it. What is the story about? Hi, Lucy. Good evening. What is the story about? Okay, we're a little slow. Yes, Tassie, the potter's house. So let's take a moment in this. When we talk about reshaping destiny, Jeremiah says God leads them down to the potter's house. And when he sees the potter, what is the potter doing? Yes, Tanya. He's on the potter's wheel. He's on the potter's wheel. Have you ever seen the movie Ghost? That gives you a real good image of the potter's wheel. And so what's on the potter's wheel? What's on there? What do you put on the potter's wheel? Clay. Yes, Monique, we play clay. What is the, oh, Valerie, you know this group very well, since Valerie Hall knows about clay, and she is a designer of incredible jewelry and art. What is one of the benefits but attributes of clay? What is one of the key attributes of clay, Valerie? Yes. It's moldable or malleable. It's moldable, it's malleable. Oh, I like that too, Val. It's made out of the earth. Okay, now you can shape it. It's playable. Okay, we know we all had some Play-Doh, right? We all had some Play-Doh. Now, in the story, it says that the potter had in his hands a what? We're talking about the story of Jeremiah. He said the potter, what did he have in his hand? What did Jeremiah notice that he had in his hand? What did the potter have in his hands? And what was, let me ask you this question while it takes a little time for you to get back to me. What was marred? All right, it was, you answered my question, Tasha, before I asked it, but yes, it was marred in his hand. What was marred in his hands? It was marred in his hand. What was marred in his hands? Yes, the vessel. So he had the vessel. So I was waiting for get the vessel. Actually, what was wrong with the vessel? But Tasha answered it. The vessel that he had, it was marred. So what happens to the vessel? So what happened to the vessel then? Vessel was in his hand. The vessel is marred. So what happens to the vessel? I see Natalie here too. All right, Natalie. What happened to the vessel, Pammy? Okay, you break it. What? Well, was it broken? Somebody wanna? You all got a moment. Check it out. What did they do? He had to remake it. Okay. He shaped it into another pie. He shaped it, okay? Now, if it is going to be reshaped, and this, Valerie, you can help us on this. It meant that before it was disfigured, okay? In order for him to remake, let me say this. So, if he took the same vessel, Valerie, and was able to break it down, to remold it, to make a new, or to reshape it, or to reshape that vessel, then it meant that the clay had not, what had not happened to the clay yet? What process did the piece of clay not go through yet? So in order for him to reconstruct that clay, Valerie, what process had not happened yet? Debbie, hey, Debbie. It was not fired yet, right? It did not go into the kill yet. So God never wants you to be locked into a destiny that doesn't belong to you. Because once you go through certain process, you can't get out. You see that many times in life. You ever see some people in life, they're stuck. They're stuck at a destiny they can't get out of. Because the fire of that situation has so made them so hard and cause it. They would rather break. It's like a tree. If you catch a young tree, you can bend it. You all say you tie the ropes on it, hold it up to keep it a certain way. But if that tree starts growing, it grows all crooked, and it grows into a big old tree, it'll break before you can straighten that tree. So when we talk about reshape your destiny, now everybody here must be malleable. You got to be ready. Okay, I am giving myself back into God, saying that hineni, that here I am, no fight. See, most of us got fighters. We already made up our minds what we're going to be. You've already made up your mind, your destiny. And how many people, and my father, Apostle Boyd, he had made up his mind. His destiny was that he owned a construction firm. And he wanted to build houses and buildings. That's what he was, and he was doing it. And then God says, time to reshape your destiny. And when God came to him, he said, I want you to put up a tent. My father told God, I don't do tents. You got the wrong John. In other words, you got the wrong vessel. You got the wrong piece of clay. So God said, you know what I'm going to do? This is the story of my father. He said, God took him out to the woodshed, to the WOOD shed. Everyone put that there. Said, God will take you to the woodshed. That's it. That fire, that hardening, took him to the woodshed. And he said, and when he got finished with him in the woodshed, he said he didn't have a mark on his body, but God had dealt with him in the middle of the winter time. He was out trying to find a tent to put up. Whatever God did to him, it brought him to a state. Remember that word state, S-T-A-T-E, that he was going to allow God to remold his destiny. So no longer was he going to be this owner, this CEO of a construction firm. He was now going to become a pastor. Yeah, put that down. He will take you to the woodshed. And don't leave a mark on you. But when he get finished, you will give him a yes. You will give him a hineni. I guess you're writing this down. Yes. So we understand now we are all here, you and me, because we're doing this as a unit together. And remember with your other side, you're supposed to inspire someone to join us. How many of y'all did that so far? Or how many of y'all working on it? Maybe after today and tomorrow, you'll be inspired of yourself. See, the blessing is that you're being transformed and you're so excited about your transformation that you got to have somebody else who needs this to be a part of it. So when you say, yes, I am ready to be, my destiny to be reshaped, that means you must be committed. Now, there's two things that you've got to be here. You got to be absolutely committed over these next 30 or so days. Might be a couple extra days just to catch up if we miss any. You've got to be committed. We are embarking on something that is going to truly change the quality of your life forever. The quality of your life. Two things you must bring to this is desire and commitment. Desire and commitment. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. What is the heart? The place of desire, of passion. So we are reshaping your destiny. All right, Joanne, good job. Excellent. Claudia. So everybody put in there, I'm reshaping my destiny. Put it in there, because that's what we're doing. And the one thing we will do, we will all be setting goals. A ship without a rudder, a ship without a sail, a ship without the ability to compass that ship, either by the stars or by a compass is a ship that's going anywhere at any time and no one knows where it winds up. And most people's lives are like that. You are reshaping your destiny. Now, in reshaping your destiny, please write this down. Your past does not equal your future. You got to understand that. Write that down. My past does not equal my future. I don't care where you were in your past. I don't care what you did in your past. It does not equal your future. My past does not equal my future. Good. Your greatest days are not behind you, they're in front of you. Write it down. My greatest days are not behind me, they're in front of me. That's why my past doesn't equal my future. I love it. I see you guys, ladies are in it, gentlemen. And when you have that, there's an expectation of excitement that's in front of you. Otherwise, if you think my past is equivalent to my future and I failed in the past, then I'm going to fail in the future. And that's how people look at it. And then they operate in fear. But God has not given you the spirit of fear. He gave you power. What's that word power? Action. To take action. And love for his word, love for life, love for success, love for prosperity, not just money, but the prosperity of life. Yes, yes, yes. Get ready because your dreams, and let me put this, your God-given dreams are about that your God-given dreams will become part of your daily reality. Who was the dreamer in the Bible? Who had the dreams that became part of his reality? Who had the dreams that shaped his destiny? Who had the dreams that brought him to greatness? Thank you, Shaniqua. Joseph, yes. Now, Daniel didn't have the dream. He interpreted the dream. But Joseph dreamed. So a dream doesn't mean that life is easy. A dream doesn't mean there's not opposition. A dream don't mean that there's not going to be hard times. It just means that when it is a God-given dream, it is a dream of shaping your destiny. And through that process, you must be malleable. You've got to be that clay so he can make you. And through every situation and every turn, there might be breaking. Let me ask you all a question. How many of y'all are ready to take control of your life? Pastor, I am so ready to take control of my life. Let me see, answer that question. How many of y'all are ready to take control of your life? That's it, Wendy. I see hands going up. Kiona, Phyllis. Tosh, I'm ready to take control. I'm ready. Now, here's in order to take control of your life, what must you do? In order to take control of your life, what must you do? I see Lucy, I see Lorleen. Okay, Tessie, yes. Tessie, I must take action. I must surrender. I must submit to Yahweh. Yeah, so in order to take control, I must give up control. That's rough. Put that, say, in order for me to take control, I must surrender control. I must give up control. Now you're giving it up to God. You're giving up to the Word, because the Word gives us instruction about our lives. So it is a study to show yourself approved. The Word will not return void that is spoken over your life. I must be willing to give up my control, surrender over to God's control, which is His Word, so you can see it, because you got to know where you're going. The Bible is your compass. How many know the Bible is your compass? You are on the ship of life. The Bible is your compass. It tells you which direction to go in. The problem is that we don't follow it. You got a compass in your hand and you're not even reading the compass. Now, you know, that's a difficult thing to do. Let's be honest with you. That almost seems like crazy. Wait a minute. Pastor, you just told me, am I ready to take control of my life? I tell you, I'm ready to take control of my life. Now you telling me to give up control. Joseph's life. He has to follow the shaping of God because of the greatness of his destiny. Now, many of you would never probably venture to see yourself as the vice president of the United States or the president of the United States. Some of you say, I ain't never thought about that in my life, that I would be the president or the vice president of the United States, because you are only shaping your destiny by the way you process. Joseph, when he saw the initial dreams and he saw his brothers, the sheaves bowing down to him, he doesn't really say where he's at when this is happening. All he knows, he's at a place of honor. You don't know what tomorrow holds for you. You only know who holds your tomorrow. And you have to be submitted to the will of the Father. So when I gave you that scripture again in Ephesians, and that's a powerful scripture in Ephesians. In him we were also chosen, having been predestined, right? Our destiny shape, it was predestined according to the plan, not your plan, the plan of him who works out everything in conformity. He is the potter. He conformity with the purpose of his will. So he makes you and molds you according to his will, not your will. That's why you got to give it up, because you want to be a glass. He wants you to be a teacup. You want to be a teacup. He wants you to be a vase. And most of us tend to fight the will of God. How many of you will attest, Pastor, I'm one of those? Put in the chat, I fight the will of God in my life. Yeah, Keila, we do. Now, decisions, let's put it this way, say my decisions affect my destiny. But he said, oh, you got to get this. Put in that chat box, my decisions ultimately affect my destiny. My decisions ultimately affect my destiny. Socrates said, understanding and directing the forces that shape your life. You got that? Your decisions ultimately affect your destiny. Hi, Kimberly. Bell Keys. And think about some of the decisions we have made in our lives. How many would like to go back and just change some of those decisions? If I had a chance to go back and change some decisions that I made, Socrates says, understanding and directing the forces that shape your life. The Bible says, with all thy getting, get what? Understanding. And then we were given that scripture in Proverbs. It says, trust in the Lord. Here's the control. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. So I give him all the control. Lean not to my own understanding, because my understanding is going to get me in trouble. Lean not to my own. Acknowledge him in all my ways, and he will, not me will, he will. Put in there, he will, not me will. He will direct my path. Keep it personal. He will, not me will, he will direct my path. I cannot lean to my understanding. It must be his understanding. I have to trust in the Lord with all my heart. I got to give him all the control. That means when I get in the pit, I got to give him the control. When I'm sold in slavery, I got to be in control. When I'm accused of rape, I got to be in control. When they throw me in jail, I got to be in control. When the butler and the baker forget about me, I got to be in control. When they take me out of jail, I still got to be in control. When I see my brothers and my brothers again who put me through all this hell, I still got to be in control. I love it. Now, this is what I'm teaching tonight is real growth. This is meat. This ain't no milk. You know, baby just got home today, and they're giving the little baby milk, little bottle, like for little Thumbelina baby. His system can't. That little girl, Gianni, cannot handle. Her digestive system cannot handle meat. So Paul said, when I was a child, that's how I responded, I acted. I'm not on meat now, I'm on meat. That means my digestive system must mature. See, your spiritual digestive system must mature, that you can eat this meat and process it. I want you, some of y'all getting choked. Oh, this is too rough. Oh, not me. You can write this down. A life which is unexamined is not worth living. A life, your life, when it's not examined, put under the microscope, is not worth living. If your life has any value, we should be able to analyze it, document it. That's what a documentary is about. We take someone's life and we put it under the microscope. I always tell you that God is not reactive, he's proactive. So, a life which is unexamined is not worth living. A life which is not examined is no life, or is not worth living. It has no value. So when we look at people's success, we look at all these great stories. What made Muhammad Ali the fighter he was? What made Serena and Venus the tennis players they were? We can go back and look at all. What made Dr. King the man that he was, or Malcolm X? We examine their lives, their failures, their successes. But you can't be afraid of being examined. And the first person that should examine you is you. And what did Shakespeare said? To thine own self be true. The great author George Bernard Shaw said, the possibilities are numerous once we decide to act and not react. And you're only in a state of reaction when you have not made a vulnerable decision. When you make up your mind that you make up your mind that you make up your mind and you know where you're going, then you don't have to react it because you're going to be proactive because you've already set the course, the plan. And that's why you want the mind of God. Let this mind be in you. The possibilities are numerous once we decide to act and not react. I do not want to be in a place of reacting. Yeah, Ty said it chokes him to death. Now understand this. Faith without works is dead. But work in and of itself is attached to knowledge. Because if I am an effective worker, I need knowledge of what I'm working on. Would you agree? If you're a cook and you are going to go to the kitchen and work and cook, you need knowledge on how to cook. Else all of us are going to be sick and we're going to be sitting up in the ER. If I'm a bricklayer, I need knowledge on how to lay bricks. If I'm a nurse, I need knowledge on how to do what nurses do, blood pressures and giving needles and shots. And now knowledge, the Bible says we are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Right? We are destroyed for lack of knowledge. But knowledge is not success. Knowledge is the potential for success. Write that down. Knowledge is the potential for success. I'm destroyed for lack of knowledge, but knowledge is the potential for success if I use it. If I use it. You'll write down that knowledge is the potential for success. Y'all see that? You can have all the knowledge you want. If you don't use it, it can never bring you success. What I tell you about John Jones' bicycle? Where was the knowledge at? What did I tell you about John George's bicycle? Where was the knowledge at? Where was the knowledge at? Yeah, the knowledge was in the instructions. It was right there. The knowledge said A to B to C to D. It was all the instructions. Had the knowledge. It was the potential for success. But I didn't use the knowledge. So I wound up with not a tricycle, some Eichel. I don't know what it was. Yep. All right, so it's time to take your life to the next level. In order to take our lives to the next level, we must understand one thing. That it is not the fault. Our lack of success is not the fault of the external world. Can you write that down? Say, my lack of success is not the fault of the external world. That is not the driving force of my failures. And what was the formula we used on force last night? Remember, we gave two formulas. One was work. But how many know we be blaming the external world on our lack of success? Yet there's some people who have the same scenario or less than you have and have been more successful than you. Write this down. Excuses are the foundation of failure. Excuses are the foundations of failure. Work equals force times, what direction are we pressing in? What is the driving force? The forces that you must be concerned with are not the external forces, but the internal forces. My concern must be my internal forces. Very good. Y'all should have this down from you last night. Now again, just take a quick break. Don't forget this great concert. Coming up October 23rd, 7 o'clock. A night of worship. And so it is going to be streamed. And everybody can help us too as we do this great fundraiser. It's going to be awesome. 7 o'clock. Okay, back to work. Now, there's some things that we're going to really key in on and learn. I want you to write them down. 3 things. 1 we will learn insights. 2 strategies, and 3 triggers. Within these internal forces that drive us towards success, we must understand and learn insights, strategies, and triggers. They have the power to change the quality of your life in a moment. I'm going to say that again. In this journey towards prosperity and good success, we must learn insights, strategies, and triggers. They have the power to change the quality of your life in a moment. And they will change the quality of your life. How quickly? In a moment. Yes, in a moment. So write this and say, you must learn. I must learn to seize the moment. I must learn to seize the moment. Because many times in these moments, there are paradigm shifts. The way you look at something is going to turn. I didn't see it that way. So you got to be open for the paradigm shift in these moments. I must seize the moment. Listen, I must seize the moment. The moments when change happens. And change happens in a moment. When that inward power, that inward strength necessary to trailblaze the path to true prosperity and success. I must seize the moment. The moment when change happens, when that inward power, that inward strength, which is necessary to trailblaze the path, allows me true prosperity and success. It's that inward power. I must seize the moment. That is the moment when change happens. We're talking about change now. How I look at things, how I process things. It's that time when that paradigm shift happens. Okay, are we there? Good. We must learn the power of triggers. There are certain things that happen that trigger the way we act. We say some of it is our past. Sometimes, anybody have ever had? Let me ask you a question. Name some things that are triggers in your life that trigger an emotion, a feeling, an attitude, a disposition. What are some triggers in your life? Okay, we already, I said I was going to come for a minute. I've already been here for an hour. Wow. What are some triggers in our lives? Give me some triggers. All right, death can be a trigger. That's funny, Joanne. Bad drivers on the highway. Okay. Places and people. Yes. Good, Debbie. Places, people, children. Yes, music, certain songs. Yes. Family members. Your ex-husband. Wow. A tone of a spoken voice. Yes. How about a smell? Cologne, perfume, smell of food. Yeah, smell. How about how many of y'all used to burn those long, what do you call, incense sticks? Certain smells just put you right there. Okay, that's a trigger. Good, Tassie. That's the trigger. When things aren't working out the way they should. Mean people. Now, again, if you've dealt with this, it means that when you get around it, it does something to you. Either makes you loud and violent, or it makes you withdraw. It makes you respond. Your behavior. We talked about this. Your behavior. We start looking at this represents something. That trigger represents something in your mind. It could be from your childhood. But you have to learn the trigger. So when it happens and you get that emotional thrust, you say, I know what this is, and you know how to handle yourself. How many know if you can't handle the trigger, you can have a big deal on the table. And somebody comes in with a certain cologne and takes you back to a bad time in your life, and you just lose it. You get irritated. I know it's my trigger. I know what that is. We must learn the power of triggers and patterns that cause us to take control and achieve success in every area of our lives. The ability to change our body spiritually, to realize our spiritual connections, relationships, the manifestation and demonstration are the tools of accomplishment. We have to place up where we have a constant manifestation of those things that we're working on, those things that are shaping our destiny. Now, before a man builds a house, what does he do? Before a man builds a house, what does he do? In the natural. Kiona, that's what you do. You get a blueprint. You get an architect who has to do the drawings that's in your vision. For lack of a vision, people do what? For lack of vision, what happens? For lack of vision, what happens? Yes, people perish. So vision, which is of the mind, that's why he says, write the vision, make it plain so people can run with it. So they can see what you do and they can respond. When it's up in your head, we don't know what's in your head. We need a blueprint. So here, every life, put this down, my life must have a blueprint. Your life must have a blueprint. And if I ask you, what is the blueprint of your life, you ought to be able to tell me that. And watch that. Who draws the blueprint? Who draws the blueprint? Carol. Who draws the blueprint? Yep, God. Let's go back to Joseph. What a blueprint, right, Sita? Look at the blueprint that God was the architect for Joseph. Look at the various rooms he built for him. A pit, a jail cell, a slave caravan. The author and the finisher. Yeah, Ty, see, that is exactly correct. We all want to say me. In fact, some of us are the blueprints of our disastrous building. It's like the Tower of Pizza. It comes all it's like the Tower of Pizza coming all crooked. God, that now we are back to that trust in God. That control. And like any good builder, his job is to build the structure according to what? Every good builder's job is to build the structure according to what? No, Tasha, not your plan, the plan. You got that? The builder's job is to build according to the blueprint, right? According to the plan. Who's the builder? Watch this. Who's the builder? Who's the builder? No, Natalie. He is the architect. Who's the builder? No, Kiona. We are. You, Kiona, are the builder. You got to build it. The problem is that we build it how we want to build it. We throw God's blueprint away and we want to build it. Who's somebody in the Bible that threw God's blueprint away and started doing things the way he wanted to do them? I'm going to end right here. Moses, because he got frustrated. So I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to beat this rock. Saul, big Saul. I'm not waiting on Samuel. I'm going down to the witch of Endor. Wrong. Jonah, I'm not going to Nineveh. I'm going to Tasha. His way. So you see this already. They wanted their way. Men of God, but they wanted it their way. God had a plan, but they want to go their own way, and it caused them in trouble. Samson, plan, don't cut your hair. Here's the blueprint. Do not cut your hair. Don't tell nobody. It's in my hair. Cut, cut, cut. Okay. I think this is good enough for the first night. Let me give you your homework assignment. Your homework assignment. I want you to and you're doing this immediately. I want you to take 2 areas in your life. Two areas in your life. I want you to decide to go into action. Action mode. Everybody say action mode. Everybody's going to go into action mode. I want you to say 2 actions that you've been putting off. 2 things that you've been putting off to do. 2 actions that you should do, should have done, or should have started. But for some reason, you've been putting it off. That doing these 2 actions would increase, and whatever these 2 actions are, you know, they would increase the quality of your life or increase your self-esteem. These 2 actions are going to be now actions, actions of now. Maybe it's restoring a relationship, of an apology, cleaning up your room or house, cleaning out your closet or cleaning out your car. Maybe it's registering for a cooking class so we can finally get a good meal. Maybe it's stop smoking. Eliminating some foods that you shouldn't be eating. You know what that thing is? Maybe it's getting up every morning and having prayer. But I want you to find 2 things. And I want you to take action immediately, now. Success in life is a result of good judgment. Good judgment is a result of experiences, and experience is a result of both failures and successes. So this is a process I'm expecting everybody to do, and I want you to write at least a paragraph or 2 on both sides of that. Do we understand each other? Now, you remember, you have to be committed. Do we understand each other, yay or nay? Tenfold. Okay, so tomorrow, when I come back, let me tell y'all to send it over to me. Now you keep it, because sometime I'm going to ask for it. Some of y'all ask me for others. I may ask for 4 or 5. Read through them, give them back to you. Yeah, we took. So don't come back in the Monday, but I didn't take it yet. This is a now. This is immediate. Now. What action you took and the result. It might be good, it might be bad. It makes no difference. We have to learn to take action now. If you start putting off, then you won't do it. And this is about work, action, now. You watch, boy, these next 30 dudes, you're going to take more action than you ever took in your life. Levi, love you, love all of you so much. My daughters, my sons, my sisters, my brothers. Thank you for giving me off the hook. So there's no in the room tonight. I won't be back at 11 o'clock. Pastor's going to get an early night's sleep. Be back for Faith Clinic tomorrow for sure. And then I'll be back tomorrow night to teach. And then I'll probably do in the room tomorrow night. All right? I love you. Pray for me. I need your prayers. Until then, you go with God. God's going to go with you. And remember, we're changing lives, starting with you. How about that? One life at a time. You're the first one. Pastor wants to take 2 areas in our lives that we've been putting off, go into action mode on it immediately, that we know we will improve. Yes, that's very good, Cedar.